Survival is the name of the game. As someone who hunts in wild places such as my garden and, well, nowhere else, my ability to survive against wild beasts and bears is unmatched. But these animals are different. They're always thinking.
Always thinking that I can go anywhere.
Yo, I actually killed that intro. Wait, I'm not reading the script. Alright guys, today is FNAF tier list time, but this time we are ranking the games based on how well I would survive in each establishment. There are no rules except pure strategy because these animals are not playing fair. They can teleport, they can turn invisible, they hide from you, some of them on the ceiling. Like, what? So if they're not going to play fair, neither am I. So as you can see here, we have our different tiers. S for survive easily and D for die easily. If I think that something is S, so that means I think I can win super easily. I can survive the final night, no problem. I've randomized the order of all of the games we're ranking, so let's just get straight into it with FNAF 2. With FNAF 2, I think that there's a pattern, right? So, flashlight, puppet, and music box. No, wait. Flashlight, puppet, and mask. So as long as you have those three, it's pretty much impossible for you to lose. That being said, I think the strategy would be to stay near the table where the puppet is, maybe even hide under the table. And what you need to do is just listen to when the new music box needs to be wound. If any animatronics come in, such as Mangle, just put on your mask immediately. Or you could just keep the mask on, and then if you ever see Withered Foxy, just flash your flashlight super fast. I don't think this is honestly too difficult, but I do think if I stay in the room where the music box is, I could potentially die. If all of the animatronics catch on, it's not fun, because then Balloon Boy will come and then he'll disable my flashlight and then I can't flash Foxy, then Foxy's gonna get me. It's a nightmare. So honestly, looking at this here, maybe if I bounce in between Prize Corner and Kids Cove and the game area where Balloon Boy is, I could potentially just hide, right? Hide behind the carousel, hide underneath the table, hide behind the like gaming machines thingies, whatever they're called, and then just wind the music box. Make sure Mangle doesn't like bite my ankles, and if there is Balloon Boy, just put on my mask. Pretty much I should have my mask on all the time, apart from if I see Mangle or Foxy or Freddy. Pretty much I should always keep my mask on unless I see Withered Foxy. That's the only thing. Apart from that, I can pretty much avoid everyone by using the mask, and only really need to take it off to flash Foxy and wind the music box. That being said, there are a ton of animatronics in this game. You can't be sure whether or not Shadow Freddy or Shadow Bonnie will show up. Shadow Bonnie could literally disable your flashlight as you're trying to flash Foxy, or make your office or room dark so you can't see anything, and then it's pretty much a game over. The chances of that happening are very low. But also, Golden Freddy just appearing out of nowhere could just mess up your game because you need fast reaction times. You need to react super quickly. You need to put on your mask immediately, and that could be pretty bad news. This is one of the most RNG games in the entire series, but there are so many places to hide and the mechanics are pretty repeatable. So I'm gonna put it in B. I think it's kind of a middle ground. I know some people might be surprised, but as much as there are many animatronics with many different mechanics, they all pretty much get defeated by the same thing, either the mask, flashlight, or music box. There are plenty of places to hide and hide underneath and hide between, and they leave you alone pretty quickly. Alright, next we have Sister Location. Now I could cheat and say that I'd stay in Parts and Service, right? Sort of with the end of the boss fight that we see at the end of the game if you try for the secret ending. And to be fair, that would be a pretty surefire way of winning. As difficult as that night is, you can definitely win, and by that way you can eliminate all of the animatronics because of course Ennard is a combination of all animatronics. But for the sake of this video, let's just say I didn't stay in Parts and Service. I'd probably honestly stay in Blora's Gallery. I was kind of looking at everything else, and to be honest, Funtime Auditorium is definitely not a fun time. We have Funtime Freddy and Funtime Foxy, which is just an absolute nightmare. You have Bon who can sneak around from Funtime Freddy. I'm definitely not going anywhere near the breaker room because I do not want to get scooped. I'm not going anywhere near the Circus Gallery or Circus Control because Circus Baby and the Biddy Babs and all that are there, and they're small and mischievous and annoying. I honestly think if I stay in Blora Gallery and I just do not move, Blora probably will not bump into me if I'm lucky. Unless the dispatch guy on the loudspeaker doesn't call me out and rat me out.
It seems you are taking a long time. Please put...
I think another dangerous thing that could happen if I do hide in Blora's Gallery is that the mini-arenas could try to find me because they do follow Blora, but again, that's a bit of an iffy thing. I hope that if I just hide in a corner, they just won't see me and won't get me. The thing is as well, if you look at the different functions of the animatronics, you can see that Blora has an audio activation sensor. So that means that she can respond to sounds, but she can't necessarily catch them. And to be honest, there's nothing that I can really see where it says that she can detect movement. So if I just stay still, I should be completely fine. But if you look at someone like Funtime Foxy, Light activation sensor, not good news. Variable scent release, not good news. Remote floor anchor, an anchor that stops victims from moving. Yeah, I am dead if she catches me. Let's look at Freddy. What does Freddy do? What about Bonbon? Oh my gosh. Functionality of Bonbon. Parental tracking 360 pivot function, allowing him to locate and track any victim on a 360-degree radius. Yeah, count me out. I'm hiding in Balora's gallery, in the dark, in a corner, like Sneeko. Sorry, that wasn't needed. That being said, how easy could I survive? Honestly, this is really rough. If the mini-arenas touch me, it's over. If Bonbon scurries around somehow and gets in through the vents, which of course we know they can, it's over for me. He's going to find me. You know, Baby is super observant. The chances of her seeing me sneak into Balora's gallery is quite high. And not only that, but Dislocation is one of those games where the animatronics fully have free reign and control over the establishment. Like full reign and control. At least with FNAF 2 and FNAF 1, it was still an establishment that was running every now and then, but with Dislocation, it's been abandoned for quite a while, so this is going to be rough. These animatronics know their way around the establishment. They know all these in and out. They've wanted to escape for many, many years, so this one is definitely harder than FNAF 2 for me personally. I think I would go with C tier. I still think I can survive with that strategy that I said, but the chances of something happening or someone small bumping into me is very high. I'm going to put this in C tier. This is a rough C tier. This is just the custom night. I guess if we include the custom night as the parts and service night, then I would say that this is maybe a B tier. The end of night is really difficult, so I think the end of night is easier than FNAF 2 1020 mode though. So let's put that there. Oh no, we have UCN. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's any surprise to anyone that, you know, I'm gonna say UCN is one of the hardest to survive in. Of course, it depends what night you're choosing, but for this video, I am going to be choosing the most difficult counterparts or versions of the nights that are possible within these games, and so I will be picking 50-20 mode for UCN. I've never even come close to doing 50-20 mode. I think the most I did was 30-20, and that for me was way too much. I mean, not only are there 50 animatronics on the hardest settings with tons of functionalities, but there are also 5 secret characters which are such a pain. I mean, when I look at 50-20, I don't know what's happening half of the time.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Wait.
And even if you do choose an easier night just for the sake of, let's just play devil's advocate, then Dee Dee's just gonna spawn in another animatronic anyway because
she's annoying and everyone hates her.
So it's just never a fun time. It's pretty much, I would say impossible if you're doing 50-20 mode. It's literally impossible. I think only a few people have completed it in their entire lives. This is definitely a die easily. Just say even if you're choosing a different office, you can't hide in the vents, you can't hide in the doorways because Rockstar Chica or Nightmare Fredbear or Nightmare will be there. You can't hide in the vents because with the Chica or Springtrap will be there. You can't hide under the desk because JJ will probably be there. You can't even hide in most of the office because the Night Marion is just shoving his body in your face. Pause. So this is like impossible. I'm sorry guys, this is a D tier. I'm not surviving this one. Even though I'm an absolute nature specialist. Okay, we have FNAF 1 here. Okay, FNAF 1, I think this is probably one of the easier ones. Again, we have the threat of Golden Freddy just popping out of nowhere. But when I think about the area, and if I check the map out right now, I think the kitchen could be pretty nice. Of course, we've never really seen the kitchen in FNAF 1 from what I know of. I know Chica goes in there every now and then, but there surely has to be some sort of cupboard I can hide in. We are definitely not going in the Endo room because the chances of the Endos coming to life is small, but it still exists, and I'm not dealing with Endos. They creep me out.
Hello, motherfucker.
And of course, we definitely cannot do the dining area because Barney is always near the tables. Even if I was to hide under the tables, the chances of him touching me or seeing me are quite high.
What do you mean by that?
And also, Barney runs in the FNAF 1 trailer, so I do not want him running around chasing me in the dining area. That's just way too crowded of a place to be running around in. We have the restrooms, and I know Freddy goes, I think, near the girls' bathroom, right? So if I hide in the boys' bathroom, maybe, because Freddy's a pervert, I could avoid him, maybe. But again, Golden Freddy, the chances of him just appearing in out of nowhere, super high, and I don't want to be trapped in the toilets. I want somewhere where there's free space to roam. I can still kind of hide in certain places. Definitely cannot do the office because Foxy's just going to run in there every now and then. I'm honestly thinking about the kitchen. The kitchen seems medium-sized. It's dark. Chica will go in there and she'll mess around with some of the cutlery, but I don't think she would check in like cupboards and stuff like that. I know this is kind of cheating because we haven't really seen the kitchen, but I think the kitchen's a pretty good bet. Even if Foxy runs in there, I mean, he's gonna be blind. There's nothing to see. It's dark. That being said, all of these animatronics are super fast, so if I get seen by any of these guys, I'm pretty sure it's over. So I'm gonna put this in A tier, also because there just aren't that many animatronics. There's what, 6? Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy, and maybe the Endos, by chance. Apparently the Marionette is technically in this game, but like we can't actually count that, guys. You know, I know that's a low point, but in terms of actual gameplay, yeah, there's only 6. Also, if we're just going off the 24 mode or 420 mode, definitely one of the easier 20 modes looking back at it. Of course, at the time it was very difficult, but if you compare it to the 20 modes on Sister Location or UCN or FNAF 2, definitely a lot easier. And the animatronics are a lot more linear in terms of their patterns and movements. So definitely a lot more predictable. So I will go with A tier with FNAF 1. I do think I could survive pretty easily. So let's drop that in a nice A tier. I think that's a good A tier, maybe potentially S tier. Oh, security breach. Again, kind of the same thing with Sister Location. These guys are like humanoid, alive, they have a personality, they understand the establishment, they're a lot more intelligent, at least from what we can see, compared to the other animatronics like FNAF 1 and in FNAF 1 and like FNAF 2. Definitely are a lot more manipulative.
You must remain calm and listen to my voice.
Oh my days, this game is huge. I honestly forgot how big this game was. From what I can remember, guys, I'm just trying to remember, I definitely would not go in the secret ending area where like that iteration of Springtrap is. That's just a no-go. Roxanne is there, Springtrap is there, Vanny is pretty much there. Yeah, I'm definitely not going in Monty's Golf because that guy jumps around and is super fast and dangerous. Physically, he's the most imposing and most intimidating.
Like this. Not like this, please. Give me in, give me in. Freddy! Freddy, bitch!
Chica, I'll be honest, Chica is a weak link in my opinion. Roxanne, when she loses her eyes, is super scary because she just jumps at you out of nowhere.
Jesus Christ.
And she's like a sporadic animal. When it comes to Chica, she's pretty linear. She's not very hard to predict. She's not overly fast or intimidating. She's probably the least intimidating one out of the whole group.
Damn, she thick as fuck.
I'm thinking if you stay in the main lobby, you could probably just run circles around her for the entire day, for the entire night. Also, there are a ton of like those baskets you can hide in that area because, of course, that's sort of like the beginning area where you just start to get into the game. So I would probably say to stay in the main lobby. You could also, again, if you're cheating, you could just stay in the elevator. I know they can catch you in the elevator, but in reality, you could just stay there. I guess the winning strategy, again, if we're playing a little bit cheap here, would be to have Freddy with you in the elevator. And then the moment anyone just somehow happens to pass by, just immediately just jump in Freddy, right? And then just go back down in the elevator or go back up to a different floor. Because the establishment is so big, and you also have Glamrock Freddy as a crutch, right, as a safety net, that's a huge thing. Even though he has limited battery, you have a huge establishment with an elevator, hiding areas, some of the things which these other games do not have. I think that's just huge. It's literally like an invisibility potion, right, these hiding areas and Freddy. So by those standards, honestly, I'd say S tier. Like, this game is just full of sequences and premeditated moments. If you can avoid those and just stay in really quiet areas and just use the hiding spots to your advantage, it's literally impossible for them to find you. You can hide in a basket the entire day. You might have to pee in the baskets, kind of gross. Alright guys, next we have FNAF 3. Right off the bat, I just want to say, technically there's only one animatronic in this game, apart from Phantom Puppet. Even if we are including the Nightmare mode for this game is like pretty much one of the easiest FNAF games apart from maybe Pizzeria Simulator in terms of the hardest night you can do in this game. And even then, in reality, a lot of the animatronics are just hallucinations. Now yes, if your breathing and vision are compromised, it's going to make dealing with Springtrap a lot harder. But in my opinion, there are some ways you can avoid this. Let's just say we're starting off at the office. We actually need to stay in the office in order to interact with the system, right? In order to fix our ventilation and our breathing and everything, we have to go back to the office. Okay, so we have to stay in the office. That's actually not very good because Springtrap can just run in there anytime. You know what? We're going to operate, guys, from the assumption that we can take the console with us, okay? Because we want to look at the whole establishment. It'd be a bit boring if I was just to stay in the office. So let's just say we don't stay in the office. We could actually run past and we could go over past camera 7. Now in all fairness, I'd probably get jump scared by Phantom Chica because that is where she appears and that would affect my ventilation, but of course I would fix that through the console. And as I'm running, what would happen then is I would probably go up into the vents. When I'm in the vents and the hallucinations are coming towards me, here's the trick, guys, right? Because Springtrap's gonna be coming towards me like this, right? You guys see these motions right now. And the hallucinations are also in the vents with me. Now, I see the hallucinations are like a splash attack, right? Like a shotgun. As they hallucinate me and they throw their drugs onto me, boom, Springtrap also gets hit by them because he's technically human. Yeah, I'm reaching here. He gets hallucinated, and in doing so, he also loses his breathing and ventilation and everything. The lights go blurry, and I run out because I'm more physically able, because look at him, he's chopped. I run out of the vents and I hide back in the office, and the guy would probably just pass out in the vents. That's of course how I would win, because I'm just that good. Okay, now in all seriousness though, this establishment's pretty difficult to win. I honestly could not think of a way to win, just because it's just so closed off, and avoiding the hallucinations is pretty much impossible. If you walk around the entire establishment, there's pretty much always a chance that you're gonna get hit by something, and that you'd have to use a console. And then you have Springtrap, who runs at 1,000,000 miles per hour in the nightmare mode. You can't really hide in the vents because, again, he's in the game, he is faster than you. In reality, I mean, if I use my weird bro science, then I win, but realistically, Springtrap wins this one. I think I would die pretty easily in FNAF 3, even though there's only one animatronic. It's just so closed off and tight. I would say that I pretty much would die easily, but I think this is a really strong I would die easily. Okay, next we have Pizzeria Simulator. Here's the idea with Pizzeria Simulator, right? We buy Lefty for $5, okay? Sounds like a stupid idea, but then hear me out. We yeet the puppy out of Lefty, right? Straight yeet over into the garbage, right? We jump inside Lefty because Lefty is just our guy, and we hide inside Lefty for the entire time because everyone will just think I'm an animatronic. Another way you could technically win is that there's that ball pit minigame, right? We could technically just hide in the ball pit forever.
Oh, shit!
Hopefully no animatronics see us do that. If you buy the ball pit earlier on and then just hide in there for the entire day, even if animatronics are there, they won't see us. If we are talking about the office segment, that's pretty much impossible because it's actually just a maze. The animatronics are always going to be there, and there's no way we can really hide. We can't go in the vents because, again, like I said, it's like a one-way road. There's no way I can leave. Maybe I can hide inside the egg. What's that egg thing called? The egg? Yes, egg baby, this thing. Dude, I could 100% hide inside of this easily. From what I understand, this thing isn't dangerous, but it is really expensive, so this is a heavy investment for my survival. So you know what, guys? I'm gonna say this is pretty easy to survive, but we have to balance both things. So although the pizzeria section of this game is pretty simple and it's pretty easy to hide from everyone, the issue is that the office section it's actually impossible to hide in. The animatronics are in enclosed space with you. They're not able to escape either, and you're not able to escape, so this is rough, but I still think it's easier than FNAF 3 and Sister Location. Is it easier than FNAF 2? I'm gonna say it's harder than FNAF 2. I'm gonna go here. Actually, I think this should be here as well, because they should be closer to being die easily rather than survive easily. Into the pit. What do I have to say about Into the Pit? Into the pit, I mean, you couldn't really actually hide in the pit because you just constantly be teleported. Springtrap is so much faster than Oswald, right? We're just a kid at the end of the day. If I'm being honest, if I was Oswald, I would have just been throwing straight hands. I don't care if the guy's made that metal, I'm throwing straight hands all day, every day. But that's probably why I'd die. I mean, if I'm being realistic, I would probably just find a way to run away from home and just call the police. But in reality, dude, I don't know what it is in that game. Springtrap just has an absolute lock on us. Like, he has the leash. We are not leaving. It's so hard to leave from him. He's just so ferocious in this game as well. I mean, he's ruthless. He doesn't even mind killing people. Yeah, this is another C tier, I think. Or maybe this is a D tier? Is this D tier? Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Just gonna put my hands up here. I kind of forgot some parts of Into the Pit. And I probably should have prepared more for this video, but I actually don't really know what to say for Into the Pit. You know what? I'm just gonna go out on a whim. I'm just gonna drop it here. I think it's somewhere around here. I don't actually think we could really survive. Okay, FNAF 4. Okay, now this is a game I do know a lot about. FNAF 4. Guys, FNAF 4. It's literally a maze. There's no escape. At nighttime, we are not running away from home. I mean, did you guys see what outside looks like in the FNAF 4 universe? It's literal hell. It's literal like demon time hell. In all seriousness, I mean, okay, let's just consider everything. We can't go to the left because Bonnie is there, Nightmare Bonnie. We can't go to the right because Nightmare Chica's there. Foxy is always pretty much watching us in the wardrobe, so he could probably just tell the different animatronics where we're going. We have Nightmare, who's like somewhat invisible, right? We probably have Plush Trap just hanging around somewhere, just scurrying around on the floor. Even if we avoid the big animatronics, he's probably just gonna find us and just like hide somewhere and sneak through without me looking. Then you have the Freddles, guys. I can't even hide in the bed or under the bed or anything. The Freddles will just build up. I genuinely think the only place we could hide, again, if we're cheating, because of course in the game we don't know that this exists, we'd have to probably hide in William Afton's room, because in William Afton's room he has the elevator to the bunker for sister location, and I don't really think that animatronics will be able to get in there, right? Because if they were able to, we probably would have seen some of that in sister location. I mean, I'm kind of stretching here, but that's what we have to do. I'm gonna put this in D. I don't think, of course, this is harder than UCN, but this is definitely, this is a rough D tier. This is a pretty rough D tier. Okay, we have FNAF Ruin. Honestly, this is pretty easy. As long as you don't move around much. Again, this is just the whole thing with security breach. I mean, you have Roxanne, right? She basically saves us. So we have a crutch, sort of, like Glamrock Freddy. But we don't have Glamrock Freddy anymore. But then again, he has no head. And then you have Monty, who's basically just like a hermit crab on the floor. In reality, dude, I'm booting Monty across the whole establishment. I'm giving him the biggest soccer kick in the world. Why did I say soccer? I'm from the UK. Chica, again, is about as broken and shattered as my love life. So everyone here is pretty much just a weaker version of themselves from security breach, and literally the biggest threat, which was Monty, is now like a little sandwich. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I think this is pretty easy. Although the mimic is technically here, first of all, he's ugly, and second of all, we literally outrun him, so from what I remember, so this is not hard at all. I think I'm gonna put this in A tier, maybe even S tier. You know what, this is S tier, because if security breach is S tier, so is Ruin. I think I'd easily survive. FNAF World, you can't really, it's not really a survival one. The VR games I'm not going to include just because I haven't played them yet. I don't really watch too much of them. So that is the tier list, guys. Let me just look over. I think that is my tier list, guys. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Completely fine. To be honest, I kind of did this tier list like out on a whim. I don't really know what I'm saying. But looking at this, it kind of makes sense roughly. I mean, I think the easier games are definitely closer to the top. Of course, guys, if you enjoyed the tier list, let me know. Like, subscribe if you want to. And just thank you for watching the video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.